And is that entirely legal to run around the roads?
No, it's about as illegal as you can get, basically. That's why you have to put another. I'll put another micro switch on it, a safety lockout.
And that's what he was after?
Yep. Which was a chore to do, but...
So how did you manage to do that then?
You have to get a solid state 6-volt flasher relay. You can't use a thermal one because it can't handle the resistance from the 5-pin relay. So then you have a normally open circuit on the 5-pin relay, which means one side, and then when the pulsed power goes to the 5-pin relay out of the flasher relay, then it clicks the diode over in there and then pulses out on the other wire. So it's doing that or that. Yeah, it's basic 5-pin relay, but you basically wire it up back to front to make it work.
And is that entirely legal to run around the roads?
No, it's about as illegal as you can get, basically. That's why you have to put another. I'll put another micro switch on it, a safety lockout. Because like I say, these switches aren't the best in the world, so vibration on a Harley, it could just click on.
Yeah.
I mean, it has got a warning lamp there, but if you're riding it, you might not see it, you know.
And what's the micro switch do?
It just locks, because it won't run unless it's got permanent live from the battery.
Yeah.
The guy who tried to do it before wired it up through the headlamp, so you see that red marker there on that switch, that's your headlamp dip and main beam. So the way he'd wired it was when the light switch is in that position, your red to red, yeah?
Yeah.
Then that would power up this switch, so that would turn it on. But there's too much resistance with the rest of the lights on, so your flasher relay won't work. They all work on resistance.
Yeah.
So it's putting too much resistance, because then it's the power, the resistance to the solid state flasher unit is then the backlight, the marker lamp, the headlamp, so it won't flash. It just goes to one light on, that still flashes, but it's not enough to power up the diode.
Yeah.
To flick on the other one. So you have to run a separate live all the way down to the battery, which means it's live all the time. And like I say, vibrating, it might just click down, so put just a little tiny little micro switch in somewhere. So if you want to use those, you just click that over and do that.
Got it.
And then, because in theory, by law, you're not allowed to have it. So you can say if it's switched off, it's legal, you know. That's all it is.
I know you said that the voltage drain was caused by just a bad battery, but if it hadn't have been that, what else could it have been?
Well, all you can do is check your main live wires from the battery, go to these two posts here. See those two there?
Yeah.
They're both live wires through the frame, and they have insulators going through them. But you don't normally get a voltage drop through them, because if they short out, it just burns the wires out. The only thing, if the coil's wired up the wrong way round on your ignition switch, and it leaves your coil permanently on, that will drain a battery, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
Anything anywhere that's leaving a battery or a charge through, it could be your voltage regulator, or cutout as they call it, which is, I don't want to turn the handlebars because the back stands iffy. It just sits on top of the generator there. It's a bit hard to see with all the leg shields on. If your cutout's gone, that puts your second shunt coil, field coil, into motion when the lights are on to put more charge back in, yeah? Now you can set the rate of charging by the end of the dynamo. There's a third brush. Normally 9 times out of 10 it's just a battery's gone, a cell's gone in the battery, and that's it, you know. So what you do, put the battery back on it, leave it for a day, check your voltage, leave it for say 12 hours, check your voltage. It shouldn't have dropped.
Yeah.
You might get 0.1 of a volt or something silly like that, but if it's gone down massively, there's a circuit open somewhere. It normally isn't a short, because that will just, like I say, just burn wires out. it'll be something that's left on. Realistically, the only other thing is dodgy generator or your cutout's gone. But normally your cutouts don't, they're an on or an off situation, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But windings in your generator and things like that can cause a voltage drop without a doubt. And then you fire it up, check what voltage you're putting back in without the lights on. So anything over 6 volts going back into that battery is fine.
Yeah.
Turn your lights on. If you get a massive drop on it, it means your second shunt coil isn't coming into operation, which could be you need to wind your third brush around a little bit more, and then you can check the amps. But that's all getting very, very, very technical. It's a basic 6 volt system. You know, if it's putting voltage back into the battery when it's running, it should be okay. Turn the lights on. If it isn't putting voltage back into the battery, you know, keeping it above a steady rate, then possibly you need to adjust that third brush a little bit, and that might just kick the second shunt coil in. But on the other hand, I've heard of people boiling batteries and things like that, but you can do that, but to put so much charge, you'd have to be putting like 9 volts back into it or something stupid. Normally, and again, no disrespect to people who put them on, trickle chargers and old batteries don't work. If it's a proper, what they call a battery conditioner, because batteries, all the time they're being used, it's good for them.
Yeah.
So in the old days, you used to put just a 3-watt bulb on it and leave it for 2 weeks, drain the battery down, then charge it back up. As long as it's all being used, yeah, that's you can't really do a lot more than that. It's such a basic system. Then it's normally the generator or the battery's dead. I mean, they're crap anyway. Well, they are, aren't they? You read in the book, didn't you? Drive it overnight with the lights on, your battery will be dead in the morning.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next week on the workshop.
Right, if you're tapping those out from inside there, I was hitting it on that edge there.
Yeah.
Always make sure that the barrel is in it, not up there, because you can bend that otherwise.
Okay.
So you want the fullness of that in there to take up any stress damage.